And what better way? What better way to live your life? What better way to die? You didn't waste your time. You didn't settle for less. You came here and you made shit happen. Not for somebody else, not for approval, not for people who don't care, but so that you can leave something behind and be remembered. So I've been thinking lately, things have been kind of crazy, kind of hectic for me lately. And like I said many times, I've been going through a bit of a trial lately. And I've noticed a bit of a pattern going on. I've noticed a cycle that I've been going through the past several years. It seems like whenever I seem to be getting ahead, I make some progress. I think I'm this close to getting somewhere, and then something kind of comes along and just knocks me the fuck out. It could be sickness, it could be car problems, it could be a bill, it could be something, anything. And sometimes it almost feels like a test. I feel like I have a choice. I could either just crack, give in, resort to the usual coping mechanisms that I usually have. You know, you could shut yourself away. You could spend your time consuming mindless content, eating certain things to make yourself feel better. And that's just a cope. That's just a way of numbing the pain. Sometimes you have things going on in your life and you just don't want to deal with them, so it's easy to just want to shut yourself away and say, oh, I'll take care of that later. But for now, let me just have a little fun. It could be drugs, it could be some substance, alcohol, pornography, or your other choice, your other option is to get to the root of the problem. Figure out a way to stop self-sabotaging and figure out how to fix your problem. And life will test you. Life will absolutely test you. It almost feels like it wants to keep you stuck, like it wants to keep you in that cycle, in that constant loop of self-sabotage. Almost like it doesn't want you to succeed. A lot of times you'll make some of your worst decisions when you're stressed, when you're afraid, and when you don't have much time. Time, or the lack thereof, is another issue in of itself. You know, and it makes sense. I mean, we're people, we're humans. We want to survive. And when there are threats, perceived threats, that can seriously hinder your sense of well-being, then yes, it would make sense. Sometimes it's like this fear, this trauma can keep you stuck in the same pattern. So I haven't officially worked since the start of this year in January. And initially, the usual reaction. I kind of freaked out, kind of panicked. I kind of buried my head in the sand, so to speak. The usual behavior, the coping mechanisms, anything to numb the pain, to make me feel better. This wasn't the first time something like this happened. You know, something goes on and it seems like your life is falling apart. And before, when you were strong, when you were making progress, but suddenly, once something happens to you, suddenly you're just falling apart. And you can easily undo months or years of hard work in a very short amount of time. So many times, I got into a situation where I was forced to make a piss poor choice because I felt like there was no other choice. And in that situation, I settled for something. And it ended up only being a band-aid fix. It didn't actually change my life. So I got myself into a position where I would accept a job or position just to make enough to get by while I found something else that I could focus on. All too often, I would get into a situation where I would jump out of the frying pan and into the fire. And even though I was able to get a job and I was able to make money, it seems there was always something holding me back. I always magically seemed to have more bills when I was working, particularly when it was something I didn't like doing. And so I ended up in the situation where I absolutely hated my life and I hated what I was doing many, many times. And for years, I was always afraid to take steps towards the things I actually wanted. Perhaps because deep down, I didn't actually believe I deserved it. To think that I could dare actually care about what I wanted to do in life. How dare you, Kevin? Instead of just gratefully accepting whatever was handed to me. You know, many of us were taught to be grateful for what we have. Taught not to question things. To accept your lot in life. Meanwhile, everybody else around you is winning. They got that lifestyle you always dreamed of. And you wonder, they can do it, why can't I? Why not me? So, essentially, it's like I've been going around in circles for the past 5 years. And it's getting so tiresome. I'm getting so tired of this pattern. I feel like there is a deeper underlying issue at hand here. And not just with finding meaningful work, but also other goals. I have other goals as well. It could be certain skills, trying to learn particular skills. It could be getting in the best shape of my life, which is something I've worked hard on for a long time. It's like there are multiple pillars holding up somebody's life, and if one of them gets taken out, the whole thing falls down. If you're not right financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, you get taken out in any one of those areas, it can affect all the others. It can. So this entire experience has been a test of my resolve to see whether or not I'm going to crumble like how I always have in the past and keep making the same damn decisions, the same mistakes over and over and over, or whether or not I'm going to learn from my past failures and not make the same mistakes. So after a couple of months of feeling sorry for myself and self-sabotaging, I realized nothing was going to change by itself, so I had to get up. I'd already gained like 20 something pounds, so I started to get up. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try to make the best of this. Even though it's not looking good, and even though it's like I'm facing an uphill battle, some progress is better than none. Every day I get up, I walk 15,000 steps, at least minimum. And although sometimes I'm forced to get by on little food, I make sure it's of the highest quality. Thankfully, I currently have a gym membership where it's been paid off in full for the whole year. So that leaves me with no excuse to get my ass in the gym at least 3 times a week. And I could have just chose to just sit around and do nothing and feel sorry for myself. But at the same time, there's situations that I had to avoid, that I had to say no to. Situations that if I took, I would just get sucked right back into the usual pattern. So all in all, this year has been a very interesting year. It's been a year of self-reflection and a year of saying no to everything that I'm not. And you know what? That's a cool thing. Why? The way I see it, I'm basically the main character of my own life. You know, I'm the architect of my own life. This is the only existence I've ever known. So I might as well make the best of it and become the best version of myself. And this might sound kind of crazy. Sometimes I like to say, here for a good time, not a long time. I'm that guy. I'd rather go out in a blaze of glory. I had a very rough beginning in my life. It was not pretty, but thankfully I was given a second chance at life. But at the same time, I want my life to mean something. I say to myself, I didn't come here just to slave away and live for somebody else. I got my own goals, my own dreams, my own destiny. And I have one burning desire to carve out something for myself in this world and to leave something behind after I'm gone, so that I can be remembered. So there's this movie quote that I absolutely love. Anybody who's ever seen the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, who plays Achilles, there's that opening scene where he's talking to that boy. Achilles is talking to that boy, and Achilles has to go fight this guy. He's like this huge dude, and the boy's like, I wouldn't want to fight him, and Achilles goes, well, that's why nobody will remember your name. And I love that. You know, it's that masculine desire to carve out a legacy for yourself so that you can be remembered. Word fame. This idea that our deeds live on, past, beyond us. Even though we're just mortal creatures, it's like, in a way, you essentially immortalize yourself through deeds. And what better way? What better way to live your life? What better way to die? And knowing you came here, you had a good time, you gave it your all. You accomplished all of your goals. You didn't waste your time. You didn't settle for what was less. You didn't settle for less. You came here and you made shit happen. And what a better way to live than that? Not for somebody else, not for approval. Not for people who don't care, but so that you can leave something behind and be remembered. And that's what I want. And I can see it. I can see it. I can totally see it. I can totally believe it. I'm not one of these people who thinks there's no hope, thinks it's over. I'm not a black pill. I'm not a doomer. Not an incel. I'm not any of that. Yeah, life is tough. It's rough. Just because things can be bad and they can be worse doesn't mean they can't be better. And I believe everybody has the power to make it happen. The power to transform your life. And this year and soon, this year, next year, I will find out. I'm going to find out real soon whether or not there is order and structure to this universe. And if I can find it, if I can find the power to change my life and to become somebody that not only I'm proud of, but my parents, my family are proud of. What a powerful testimony I'll have. So yeah, things are rough now, but if I can find a way to get out of this, and just think of what that says, think of what I'm truly capable of. Because I'm tired of bullshitting, tired of going in circles. No, you're either gonna pick yourself up, you're gonna pick yourself up, well, this has been a pretty chaotic rant. I'm probably gonna edit the shit out of this. I might not even put this up. But anyway, if you made it this far, then you're one of the real ones. Well, that's all I got for now. Take care.